Hey guys, Backman here, and today we're going to be discussing why Monster Hunter Outlanders is getting a lot of hate, and in my opinion, why it shouldn't. But before we get into the reasons why, let's first discuss what Monster Hunter Outlanders actually is. And it's actually pretty simple. So, Monster Hunter Outlanders is the upcoming mobile Monster Hunter game from Tencent and Capcom. It's going to be a fully fledged Monster Hunter game. It's not going to be like Monster Hunter Now or that other mobile Monster Hunter puzzle game. It's going to be more of a traditional Monster Hunter experience just on mobile. So it's really that simple. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go into the first reason why a lot of people are hating on Monster Hunter Outlanders. Now, the first and main reason why a lot of people are hating on Monster Hunter Outlanders is because it's a mobile game. Now, I'm not saying that this is totally unwarranted. Uh, there are a lot of reasons why this could be a bad thing, and number one is monetization. Monster Hunter Outlanders is going to be a free to play mobile game, and sadly, free to play mobile games have a track record of having predatory monetization practices or being pay to win, as we'd like to say. We can see these disgusting monetization practices in a lot of big mobile titles like Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Strike Force, and many, many more. Now, the fear that Outlanders is going to have greedy monetization practices is also bolstered by the fact that the developers, Teamy Studios, is owned by Tencent. Now, for those who don't know who Tencent is, they're basically a giant tech company and they own a bunch of stakes in a lot of video game companies like Epic Games, Roblox, and Riot Games. And they are known for basically pushing a lot of heavy, greedy monetization practices in the games that they own. However, it's important to understand that not all Tencent games are pay to win. They basically own League of Legends, and while it is a shitty game, I can't say that it's totally pay to win. A lot of the games that Teamy Studios made under Tencent, like Call of Duty Mobile and Pokemon Unite, are also, in my opinion, not pay to win. You can play these games for hundreds, if not thousands of hours without spending a single dime, and you would still be able to compete and have fun. And I know this because I played Call of Duty Mobile for a couple of years, and I actually still play it from time to time. Call of Duty Mobile is actually the game that changed my mind about mobile gaming in general. Like a lot of other people, I had this belief that free to play mobile games could only be simple versions of the bigger games they're trying to emulate, or cheap cash grabs, or both. But Call of Duty Mobile proved to me that we can have console quality gaming experiences on the go that don't have greedy monetization practices. I've been playing Call of Duty Mobile for years now, and I haven't spent a single dime, and I'm able to compete and hold my own against friends who've actually spent hundreds of dollars on that game. Now, I'm not saying that we're 100% sure that Monster Hunter Outlanders isn't going to be pay to win or have pay to win elements. What I'm saying is we should at least give it the benefit of the doubt, especially considering that Team Studios, their developers, have a track record of creating mobile games that have, in my opinion, one of the more fair monetization practices in the free-to-play mobile gaming market. And as fans of mobile gaming and fans of the Monster Hunter series, we should at least want Outlanders to be good. We should demand for it to be good instead of just hoping for its downfall before it's even out. Now, another reason why people hate that Outlanders is going to be a mobile game is because of the controls or lack thereof of the mobile gaming platform. This is actually something that I fully understand, as I am also someone who hates playing with touch controls. I have very sweaty hands, and playing with touch controls is just a nightmare. Now, a lot of people don't mind this because not everyone has sweaty hands, but for those who share a similar problem, or for those who just don't like the lack of tactility that touchscreen controls provide, there are solutions. Number one, there are super cheap thumb sleeves or finger sleeves that you can buy that make controlling the touchscreen a lot more smoother. Think of them as mouse pads for your fingers. They make your fingers glide more smoothly in your phone's touchscreen, and they get rid of the sweat problem. Now, the second and best solution, in my opinion, is simply just buy a controller that's compatible with Android or iOS. I personally went with a GameSir X2 Pro telescopic controller for Android, and it makes my phone look kind of like a PSP or Nintendo Switch, and it's absolutely a treat to use. The buttons are clicky, they're super tactile, and it's like I'm just playing Nintendo Switch. Even better because, in my opinion, this has much better controls. I have a Switch Lite, and the feel that this controller provides is just much better. Now, if you're not into telescopic controllers, or you just don't like the way that they feel and look, you can go for full-size controllers. I also have a GameSir Nova Lite, and it's compatible with PC, Switch, and of course Android. I got it for super cheap too, under $15 if I remember correctly. And the quality is great. It's even better than a lot of first party controllers provided by companies like Xbox and Nintendo. It has Hall sensor sticks, and it even has rumble support, and it's super comfortable. Now, I'm not, of course, saying that this is the one that you have to get. You can get any controller of your choice as long as it's compatible with your phone. You can even get a phone clip that allows you to attach your phone to the controller to have a more seamless gaming experience. With all that being said, we should first hope that Monster Hunter Outlanders has proper controller support. I'm 90% sure that it's going to have controller support, since many mobile games today have controller support, especially bigger games like Call of Duty Warzone Mobile. But if it doesn't have native controller support, you can still use a controller. You just have to map the buttons individually, manually. Another reason why people don't want Monster Hunter Outlanders to be a mobile game is simply because it's not their preferred platform. I remember when Monster Hunter Rise was first announced initially as a Switch exclusive, we didn't know that it would eventually come to PlayStation and Xbox, and people were absolutely furious that it wasn't going to be in their preferred platforms. There was nothing inherently wrong with the game, but they still hated on it just because it wasn't in their preferred platforms. The same thing can be said when Monster Hunter World was first announced for PlayStation. People were furious that they were leaving the Nintendo handheld consoles. Now, if mobile isn't your preferred platform, there's nothing I can do about that, or anyone can do about that. That's your personal preference. But I don't think you should hate on the game or the players of that platform just because the game is not on your preferred platform. I remember that a lot of World and Iceborne fans were talking shit about Nintendo Switch players when Rise first came out, and in my opinion, it was just unwarranted and toxic. But if you're a real fan of the franchise and you love the community, it is important to know that having a mobile Monster Hunter game, a proper mobile Monster Hunter game, can actually be a good thing for a lot of fans. The truth is, not everyone has a PlayStation. Not everyone can afford a PlayStation 5. Not everyone can afford a beastly gaming PC that can run Monster Hunter Wilds. I started playing Monster Hunter back in the PSP days, and it was the only handheld gaming device that I had back then. So I was absolutely crushed when I found out that the next Monster Hunter game would be exclusive to the 3DS. And I didn't have money to buy a 3DS back then, so it was only after many, many years that I actually got to play Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Generations. I was also sad when Monster Hunter was transferring to PlayStation and PC because I didn't have money to buy a PlayStation and a PC. So, having a proper Monster Hunter game for mobile makes getting into the franchise a lot more accessible for thousands, millions of people. And if they really like Outlanders, they might eventually save up enough money to buy a new PC or a new PlayStation to funnel into the bigger Monster Hunter games like the upcoming Monster Hunter Wilds. And because Monster Hunter Outlanders is going to be a free to play mobile game, there is a much lower barrier of entry for people who are trying to get into the franchise, since they don't have to spend 60, 70 bucks for a new game or hundreds of dollars for a new console or PC. And as I've stated before, if they really like Outlanders, they can then decide to spend money on the bigger mainline games like World, Rise, and Wilds. And if this happens, the mainline games will be more successful. And if the mainline games are more successful, then Capcom will continue to keep making these games for us, to keep improving these games for us. So it's actually a win-win for everyone. Now I just hope that Outlanders is optimized enough for lower end to mid end devices, unlike, let's say, Call of Duty Warzone Mobile, which only plays on the beefiest of phones. Not everyone has a gaming PC or a PlayStation, but not everyone has a beefy gaming phone either. So optimization is really just up to the developers, and we'll just have to wait and see. Now, another reason why Outlanders is getting a lot of hate is because the previous Monster Hunter games for mobile devices weren't exactly quote unquote Monster Hunter games. For example, Monster Hunter now is basically just Pokemon Go with a Monster Hunter skin, and the new Monster Hunter puzzle game for mobile devices is basically just Candy Crush with a Monster Hunter theme. So people don't know what Monster Hunter Outlanders is going to be. That's why they remain skeptical, which is understandable. However, I am happy to say that based on the information that we have and the trailers and dev interviews that are out now, that Monster Hunter Outlanders is going to be a truer Monster Hunter experience for mobile devices. So just think of World or Rise and put it on your phone and add a bunch of new features that's unique to that game. Features like more expansive survival elements, which I am actually super excited for. I was not a fan of the way that Rise and Sunbreak stripped away the survival elements of the Monster Hunter series. We don't even have cool drinks and hot drinks anymore. It's mostly just action. It's basically just Devil May Cry Monster Hunter. You don't even get to hunt the monster anymore. It's all laid out on the map. So I'm happy to see that Monster Hunter Outlanders is going to be embracing the survival side of Monster Hunter even more. And that's it for this video, guys. So those are the reasons why Monster Hunter Outlanders is getting a lot of hate, and why I don't think it should get that much hate, and why I think we should be at least a little bit cautiously optimistic. So if you guys like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I wanna keep making more videos like this, and your support means a lot to me.